So some of the things about marketing yourself as creative, it's become harder and harder nowadays to A, find clients, B, sustain clients. You know, there's so many, it's such a cutthroat city right now too. It's so easy to, you know, a photographer puts in a bid and then all of a sudden, you know, someone can come underneath it and do half the price for just the same amount of thing. And I think the one thing you have to kind of stay with in this industry is, you know, is your integrity. So whenever you're pricing things, when you're putting yourself out there, it always has to be first rate. So my presentation is going to be two-pronged. We can either A, talk about the image, or B, go into the idea. And this is going to be 100% crowd participation. So everybody here is going to talk today. We're going to meet each other. We're going to get to know each, you know, what everybody does. So what's your name?
Eloisa.
Eloisa, you get to either talk about the image, come up with a 5-second backstory, or we talk about the point of view. This is like when you're little, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Truth or dare, truth or dare, let's go.
Image.
Image, talk about the image.
The image is very provocative. It.
But you have to tell a story.
Oh, okay. She's very thirsty, but she missed the pool and she licked the floor.
Perfect. Life's all about narratives. Visually, even ideas. If you're a designer or an entrepreneur or a creative, you probably haven't seen her ask for your resume in a long time. People don't even, I mean, we were just talking about it in the office, Stan, where you're at. Who even asks for a resume? It's online. It's how you put yourself out there, and you have to tell stories. So when you sell yourself, tell a little story. Ooh. Okay. Paco. Where's Paco? Paco, we either get to talk about the idea, or you get to talk about the image.
It's a great image.
Do you know who that is? I can talk about it with you.
I don't. I have no idea.
Charles Bukowski. Does anybody know who Charles Bukowski is?
Okay.
Matt, should I should ask. I should look now. Actually, Paco, you're out. Matt, you're in.
Okay.
Do you know anything
Yeah,
about
actually, Bukowski is, I'm a local writer here, and he's one of my favorite writers, or was kind of one of my early influences. He was a down and out guy in LA, Skid Row type, who drank a lot, kind of womanized, spent a lot of time at the racetrack, and became really famous later in life for his narrative poetry.
He actually had a margin of success at the end of life, and he was able to have like almost a Hemingway-esque end of his career where he really, really lived it up. So actually, I want to paraphrase De La Vega on this too. We spend too much time trying to convince others instead of believing in ourselves. Charles Bukowski, if anybody, is a person who believed in himself. The guy worked in the post office his whole life, was happy and content, wrote this beautiful poetry, and got to live his life as he wanted. What's your name?
Charles.
Charles?
Yeah.
Charles, you either talk about the image or talk about the point of view. And let's switch it up. Talk about the point of view maybe this time. And I'll talk about the image.
I like the image though. It's just like sitting there like he's ready to mess some people up.
Is the last part of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I love samurais. That's the reason I put that in there. Network, network, network. By the time we leave here, I'm almost sure everybody's I'm gonna force you guys to talk to each other. I'm gonna stand at the door. Everybody has their card here, right? Please tell me.
No.
Well, raise your hands if you don't have your card. Okay. Write down on a piece of paper your guys' contact information. This is your penance. Everybody else, when you leave, I want to see everybody else's business card and know everybody about his first name. Really, this is a great group of people. It's a Saturday morning. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Arnell.
Arnell.
Designer.
That's a great name, Arnell. Image or the idea?
Let's see. Image.
Do you know what this is from?
Is it a Ginger Rouge film?
Yes, it is a ginger.
Brooklyn.
But tell a little story. Actually, give me a little story. Make up your own story. Make up your own narrative.
Yeah. all I think of is, man, I really gotta quit this job and tired of being a chef. Yeah, that's all I see when I.
Yeah, we have to get more creative with that. Huh? So, right now, guys, you guys should be investing in yourselves. Any kind of money you get from your freelance, from whatever, set aside 20% aside. If you're not a web person, get to know a web person. Hey, do some training. You guys have to network like that. There's no reason you shouldn't have an online presence. There's no reason that people can't, whatever it is, there's no reason people can't go online, find your work, find your contact. I hate when I go to a website and I click on contact and it gives me a form. I hate that. I want an email, I want a phone number, I want to get a hold of this person. So some other tips I can give you, I don't think you need a blog. I don't think you need a Twitter. I mean, I don't have a Twitter. I used to have a blog. I did it for fun. Be creative. That's the only reason I can see you to use it. People like to talk about all the, putting yourself out there like that. You got to do the blog, you got to do this, you got to, however people find you. And I still think relationships are built in the creative field by a handshake and still talking and still getting out there and talking to people. Basic as that. Okay, who's next? What's your name?
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
Image or the idea?
Okay, why don't we talk about the idea?
Please do.
Okay. Learn to write really great emails. We get so much email traffic that we don't tend to read very carefully everything that we receive. So it's important to be succinct and use keywords that will get people's attention. And it might vary depending on who you're sending the email to.
Okay, so he's correct in the fact that we get inundated with so many emails. Whenever you are reaching out to a person, an introduction, anything, first email to a person, you get a person's business card, you should always do a little follow-up and learn. The email is the creative form of writing. Now, people used to write long-form letters back and forth to have communications with people. Your email should be that good. You should always spell check. I hope I didn't spell anything wrong today. You should always spell check. If you've never had a creative writing course, go take one. Go buy a book. It's so easy to learn how to write really great emails and engage people. I love getting really well-written emails from people. Right to the point. Tell me what you want. Floss over things if you have to, but just get to the point. But give me really great. I want to read an email. I want to be enthused to get an email. Write a person back. I love this image too.
Yeah.
Dave, what's your name?
Ryan Berg,
Ryan, what's going on? Ryan, what do you do?
look designer.
Designer?
Artist.
I think everybody's a designer, but specifically, what do you do? You do great things. Tell me one thing you do great.
One thing I do great. Great with color.
Great with color.
I
Okay,
do.
so you get to talk about the idea or the image, and thank you for talking about the idea. I needed one person to talk about the idea. So now I'm a visual person, so I'll talk about the image every time too. So. And I have a lot to say about this image.
Talk about the idea too. Embark on a major personal project that you were passionate about. I feel that's important. It gets the creative juices going when you're passionate about what you're doing. If you take a project like that.
Doesn't it help you push that in other directions too? Like, oh, I want to tell people about this. I want to get this out there. Whatever you're
Sure.
passionate about, you have to get that, and you have to push it in directions. You have to push it out there on the web. You have to market yourself just like that.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about the image too?
Yeah, I just see Dirty Dancing.
So this is an image from the riots in Toronto when they had all the riots. And as you can tell, these are all riot police.
Right.
Pushing back the crowd.
It looks like Dennis
This is the one that
Canada.
everybody thought this was a passionate moment, but he was
This is-
actually helping her get up off the ground.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the funny backstory about that's the funny thing about images is how it's an impression in your head and it can be misleading, but it's whatever your impression is. So that would be my little tie-in is the people's impression. But he's absolutely right. This gentleman was was going to help this girl up, and it happened to fall. And I think his head, it looks like she's kissing and she's kissing back, but his head is like just hitting into her. And this photographer got it at the right second.
This was in Vancouver or Toronto?
Toronto.
Oh, what?
So I'm gonna end on this.
Oh, man.
Excuse me, ladies, but this is hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious to me. There's a gentleman that patented, filed it, 1958. That's where it came in. Fred Gildoff, you'll never forget him. Patented the hand job.
Seriously?
So anybody owes royalties.
Oh, man.
Is that why it's called
Thank you guys for your time. That's all.